Hi, this is Marilyn Woodruff with At Knits and Designs here today to talk to you about the stitches that are in the Drop Me a Line wrap. This wrap is full of drop stitches, and the wrap itself as you're knitting is going to scrunch up a little bit like ribbing would, but when you go to block it, you can see these stitches really pull out, and all of these drop stitches will smooth out. So have no fear as you knit. It will look a little weird, but it will all block out. So we make these ribs around each of the drop stitches with twisted stitches. So on the right side of the fabric, they are knit through the back loop. On the wrong side of the fabric, they're purled through the back loop. And then on row 7 and row 13, you'll actually drop down stitches, just drop them off the needle as if they don't exist. And I know that most knitters live in terror of dropping stitches, but this time we're going to do it on purpose, and we have a safety net built in. So at the beginning of each of the repeats, you're going to build a yarn over, and that yarn over is going to stop the drop stitches. So you're never actually going to have to live in fear. The stitches will never drop further than that yarn over, even if you wanted them to. So if we look here at how we want to start, on all the right side rows, you will knit through the back loop for the knit stitches. So you'll purl normally, and then you'll get to the knit stitches, but instead of knitting them normally, you'll go into the back loop of that stitch and knit the back loop. Go into the back loop of the stitch and knit. And then you purl normally. And then when you get to the piece that has the yarn over in it, you will knit through the back loop for the first stitch. You will knit normally the stitch on top of the yarn over that eventually will be dropped. And then you will knit through the back loop for that third stitch. And then you'll purl normally. When we get to the other side of the fabric, we'll do just the opposite. Okay, now I'm ready to work on the back side of the fabric, where my ribs are the purl side on the front, and the drop stitch ribs that are twisted in the front are shown as purls. So on the wrong side, you will knit normally. And then when you get to the purl stitches, for the stitches that are the ribs, you'll purl through the back loop. So you'll bring the yarn forward as if you're going to purl. And then instead of going in purl-wise, you'll actually stick your needle between two stitches behind, and you're going to turn your needle and you're going to come in what looks like knitwise, but it's not. You'll come in from the left to the right in the back and then purl. So it's a little less intuitive than knitting through the back loop. One more time, you'll go in between two stitches, you'll slide your needle in from the left to the right, and then you'll purl. Oops. And then you knit normally. And then you get to the section where you've got 3 purl stitches showing. So we'll purl the first and the last through the back loop, and then we'll purl the middle one normally. So go in from the back, from the left to the right, purl through the back loop, purl normally, and once again, purl through the back loop. And that will take you through all of the stitches you need to know up to the point where you're ready to drop stitches off the needle. Now I'm working on row 7, and I'm on the row where we're going to start dropping these stitches. At the same time that we drop the stitches for the ribs that have the yarn over, we're also going to be setting up the next set of ribs by creating a yarn over in the ribs next to it. So to drop the stitches, it's as easy as it sounds. I'm literally going to drop the second stitch straight off the needle. One thing that I do in order to make this a little faster is I'll work this entire row, and usually the row after it, before I'll come back and tug all the stitches down and open up the ladders. So I'm going to start by knitting through the back loop for that first stitch, and then I'm going to drop this second stitch right off the needle and just let it hang. And then I'm going to knit through the back loop, and I'm going to purl 2. And now I'm at the next set of ribs that looks like knit 2 together, or 2 knit through the back loops. I'm going to knit through the back loop, yarn over to prepare my next one, knit through the back loop. Then I'm going to purl 2. And now I'm back to the one I'm going to drop. So I'm going to knit 1 through the back loop. Then I'm just going to slide that stitch right off the needle, and I'm going to knit 1 through the back loop and continue down the row. you can see that these, when you slide them off, they start to work their way down on their own, but generally they won't work all the way down, and you'll actually have to come back and you'll have to tug it open so that you can see when you're done, you'll see all of those strands are not twisted, and then they will block out into even strands whenever we block the work. And so you can just leave it just like that and just keep working all the way through this section.